And speaking of politics, every Monday here on The Current, we look at what your elected officials have been up to over the last week. This week, we're starting on the Illinois side, and joining us is Peter Hancock, State House reporter for Capitol News Illinois, and all-around expert on Springfield politics. Peter, thank you for joining us.
Nice to be here, Shelby.
Okay, the big news last week was Governor J.B. Pritzker's budget proposal. It relies on the fact that Illinois' revenue numbers are now projected to be better than what the state had anticipated. So what's the governor asking for?
Okay, yeah, you're right. Just a few months ago, they were very concerned about a projected $3.2 billion budget deficit. They got some updated and rosier estimates of revenues to come in next year, and so things are looking a little better. The governor outlined a $55.2 billion budget, which is about $2 billion more than the current year's budget. And so, it's kind of off to the races. Everybody's now going through that line by line and trying to decide, where did he put in too much money? Where did he put in not enough? And trying to align his proposed budget with legislative priorities.
So was there anything in his budget proposal that surprised you or stood out to you?
Well, yeah, I mean, it is a very lean budget. And one of the things that is on everybody's mind right now, of course, is, all state governments rely to a large degree on what's happening at the federal level, particularly with Medicaid programs. That's Medicaid is the health care coverage, health insurance program for low income and disabled individuals. And it was expanded a few years ago under what's called the Affordable Care Act, the Federal Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare. And there's this group of people called the Expansion Group, where all adults up to 138% of poverty could qualify for Medicaid, and the federal government would pick up like 90% of the cost of that. The concern now is that with the new Trump administration, President Trump is taking a very hard line on federal spending, trying to make drastic cuts in it, and has for a very long time talked about trying to undo Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act. And one of the concerns in Illinois is the existence of a trigger law, which says if the federal government ever stops providing that 90% funding for the expansion group, then Illinois will cease to cover those people. And so about somewhere between 700,000 and 900,000 individuals could lose health care if that were to happen.
Yeah, that's a huge impact. But Peter, before I let you go, I wanted to quickly touch on what the governor mentioned at the end of his speech last Wednesday. He brought up Nazis, and he said that he is watching with dread at what's happening in the country. So there was a lot of fallout to those comments. What has the reaction been?
It's been kind of all over the board. Republicans in particular took great offense at that. They felt as though he was comparing or calling Republicans Nazis or neo-Nazis. On the Democratic side of the aisle, I think there was a lot more acceptance of it. I think that the feeling was that the President Trump is exhibiting a lot of authoritarian qualities and behaviors in the way he's just single-handedly, ordering reductions in federal spending, ordering the termination of thousands upon thousands of federal employees without much warning. He's acting in a very authoritarian manner. And so the governor was trying to draw a comparison between this kind of authoritarianism and what happened in Germany in the 1930s. Some people thought that comparison went too far. Other people thought it was very appropriate and kind of an apt warning for our time.
Well, certainly not the only thing that people in Springfield are not agreeing on right now. Peter, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you.
Peter and his colleagues at Capitol News Illinois have really been able to dive into the governor's budget proposals, and they've written it all up for you online. You can find their articles at WQAD.com underneath the As Seen on TV tab.